it's a lot of keywords and fancy words, right? We now it's not organic, it's agroecology, and then it's regenerative. It's a lot of you can get lost, and I know there's a lot of disagreement on the framing and all that, but I would put that aside, and it's really about marketing yourselves at both national, regional, and international levels for what you do. I used to work in a big international conservation organization, and it's kind of the mirror of what Sylvia was saying about policy making. So I was very involved in climate change negotiations, in biodiversity convention, all the UN big negotiations, and there's a lot of money also going around, a lot of money about transitioning food system to more organic, to more agroecology. There's a lot of money, but it never gets to farmers organizations. So that's really where we came from, and that's why we also wanted to have a foundation dedicated to farmers organization. Is really because you have so much value. You can be so proud of what you do. Each time I hear farmers presenting cooperatives, all the things that you do, I mean, yeah, it's just so sad because your visibility is taken by bigger NGOs often who use your pictures, who use your work, but then there's more intermediaries also with this international climate and environmental finance. So that's why I think one of the solution is strategic communication for policy influencing and visibility. So as I was saying, FFORA is supporting the family farmers for climate action. So we usually don't put our logo there. We really want it to be the farmers campaign. So next slide. So what we do I'll start at the more granular level. So first of all, we have an amazing partner. It's an international agency in strategic communication. So they're really experts in like digital platforms and especially media, because at the end of the day, even if it's online media or newspapers or things like that, politicians, policymakers, and consumers, still a lot of them read media. So what we do is we help support farmers' organization to increase their visibility. So, I mean, again, all the presentation, I mean, who doesn't want to go visit Florist Farm? Who doesn't want to support Sylvia's work? So it's really just about using all the tools now that we have, like on social media, and using all those tools to share more what you do. And I think also we do provide sometimes some support, because the storytelling is something that most of you are quite used to, because it's just talking about your lives and about your work and about nature around you. But sometimes we do provide a bit of support on what is the most strategic media, depending on the audience. If you work more with other farmers, I guess Facebook and TikTok and other more mainstream networks are useful for in situations when they have cell phones and all that, but it's increasingly coming in most of the regions of the world. But then if you want to attract more professional investment, maybe you want to increase a bit your presence on LinkedIn and on new platforms like this. So we do that kind of support. But we also help farmers organizations build relationship with journalists and media, because you're all confronted to industrial agriculture, who has like industrial actors who have like millions for communication. As you said, I mean, it's like publicity, it's selling their products that are often bad products, and everybody thinks that's the solutions, that's the way to go. So we really want to empower the farmers organization, smallholder farmer organization, to work on this. So this happened 2 weeks ago. So it was an event in East Africa with two regional farmers organizations from East Africa, but also Seed Savers Kenya, who if I'm not Seed Savers Network, not mistaken, is an INOFO member. So this was organized. It was really the farmers organization kind of inviting journalists of the region and of the country to come and talk about key issues, that the media are interested in, about climate, about food, about agroecology, but hearing for once the perspective directly from the farmers' organizations. And apparently I couldn't attend, but apparently it was very successful, both on both sides, really, because it's not always easy for farmers' organizations to understand what journalists are looking for. But the journalists apparently were really quite struck by the power of the voice and by all the things that the farmers had to say, and also at very national level as well. Like Sylvia was saying, I mean, sometimes it's land tenure struggle, sometimes it's like access to land for women, very specific topics that need more attention to make things move at very local level. So that's one part of the work we're quite happy to support. So next slide. And then what we try to do, because it's always easier to kind of prepare messaging based on research, but it doesn't need to be this. Here we had fancy researchers doing this kind of analysis that I'll get back to, but it can be farmers' research that is just, then you just profile it differently. Sylvia again presented a case study that she had produced, but it can be farmer research. It's just that to attract attention, it does work in strategic communication to kind of launch a new research, launch a new message, launch something new that attracts attention, and then you can pass all your messages to it. So with the Family Farmers for Climate Action, so the farmers organizations commissioned a first research, and you can see the infographic trying to give a compelling analysis of this. So it's the research that actually a lot of people are using now, saying that small-scale farmers produce a third of the world's food, sometimes at 80%, depending on the statistics, and they're at the forefront of climate change. But the analysis that we commissioned showed that they get less than 1% of climate finance. And this had really, really opened the door to a lot of discussion, to a lot of attention from a lot of actors, because this climate finance, as I was saying, still not enough. I mean, at the international level, much more money will be needed to adapt to climate change. But even with the current money, only less than 1% goes to farmers' organizations. When you maintain the soils, you maintain the resilience to climate change, you're really at the forefront experiencing it, but also safeguarding biodiversity. So that this helped us really convey a stronger message. Then after that, the second year, we did a deep dive in two of the biggest environmental and climate funds, the GEF and the GCF, just to understand a bit more what kind of money was going to smallholder farmers organization, where it was going, and how also, because if you look into the details, first of all, farmers are not involved in defining how the finance should help farmers. It's always decided top down, right? And then farmers are always, actually always, it was 0% of projects going directly to farmers organizations, but they're always considered also as end beneficiaries. But how can you like change the food system if you don't attend these types of webinars, if we don't involve farmers organizations in defining how things will change, if it's decided in like northern countries or in big capital cities around the world, but no farmers are at the table, it's really not going to work very well. And I think we have both biodiversity and climate change crisis that need to be addressed, and that's why we're also pushing for more involvement in farmers in those processes as well. Next. So that's how a bit 3 years ago, with a few farmers organizations that I was working with for a long time in my former job with the strategic communication, we met a lot of indigenous peoples organizations that are very powerful at the international level, and it's inspired a few farmers organizations saying, we want our own advocacy, we want our own visibility also at those international platforms. And that's how it's taking time. It's getting a bit more traction, but we're quite proud to say that now we have 9 regional farmers organization member of the campaign and 2 international ones. Sorry, I thought INOFO's logo was not there, but it's there. And then we created this map just to show kind of the coverage of the farmers represented through the farmers organizations in this campaign. And with strategic communication, what I learned as well is, of course, you all have a lot of value, and the strength in number is very, very powerful. But you need also to have simple asks. So that's always complicated, and it gets also a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of farmers organizations from different regions, different contexts. So it does get a lot of work and a lot of clearance on different messages. But we try to be very simple and to keep it simple. So the campaign asks were really originally around having more climate finance. So it's really 3 asks, which were more and better finance for farmers organizations, more investment in agroecology, and a seat at the decision-making table. And we had the chance of convening in April in Tanzania a meeting with all the representatives of all of those farmers organizations. And from what I've heard, it was really quite unique because it was regional and international farmers organizations convening together. Nobody talked at them. There was no external speeches. It was really just farmers organizations speaking together. And on the last day, they invited funders and policymakers to come and listen to their asks. And the 3 asks that came out of this meeting was to call for national reform, to unlock finance for smallholder family farmers. And here you all know your local context. I mean, it can be like better interest rate. It can be national land tenure reforms, sometimes create problem. It can be the right to create cooperatives, which in some countries is still forbidden. It can be readjusting subsidies, revising the fiscal policies in some contexts. And then the second ask is really about global reform, as I was saying, for more and better finance. And again, it's more inclusion of farmers at the decision-making table, which goes also under number 1. And also all this money going through so many intermediaries, like it's a market in like international cooperation that could go directly to farmers organizations for way more effect, is also something we're really calling for. And then finally, all the organizations agreed that they want to create a fund, a farmer resiliency empowerment fund. So this is still in the making. There's a working group working towards that, but they're really considering developing their own climate fund to have as a mean to kind of avoid too many intermediaries, and this would be a farmer organization led fund. So this is something that all the leaders are working on. It's still in process, but it's I think also quite a powerful ask to show that you are you have structures in place, you have the knowledge, you have access to millions of smallholder farmers, you have a business sense also. It's not like money is like out of nowhere. You're in markets, all of you. So it's really something that we're working towards. So all I can say is just continue doing the amazing work and really shout and be proud of what all of you do, because sustainable, I mean, agroecology, organic, however you call it, is really the solution to the many of the global crises. And I encourage you at getting together, keep raising your voice, and just keep doing the great work. Thank you very much.